What's up, Raider Nation? Hey guys, how's it going? This is Angria Trask for your Raiderette's show. We are missing Sunshine this week because she's still moving, so wish her luck. She's got some other issues going on, some things she's trying to work out, so hopefully she gets moved and everything gets safe and she's all good. So we don't have much going on right now. It is off season and it is boring. So, hi Cedric. What we're going to do today, I thought, would be just field questions. I can talk about a couple of things, but there's really nothing. There's nothing. It's so boring right now. I hate it. I want to talk about some bold predictions, and I am broadcasting from my beautiful backyard because it is too gorgeous to be inside all day. So, let's talk about some predictions. I've had a bold prediction for a couple months now that Donald Penn isn't going to make the final team. There's been a lot more talk about that lately, so I apologize if I ding in the background. Hi Mark, hi Michael. I forgot to mute my phone, so sorry, my bad. It'll just be extra sound effects. So Donald Penn, I know a lot of people are not on board with that, so let me give you some reasons why I think he's gone. He's getting old. He's just coming off of a Liz Frank injury, and that's hard to recover from when you're, 35? I can't remember. So I don't think he's going to be there. He's got an attitude problem. He has a lot of off-the-field issues, and Gruden doesn't like all that stuff. He doesn't want no drama. He wants everybody to get to work, do your job, go home. That's it. That's all he wants. Can you ask for anything more? Probably not. I wouldn't. Give 110% while you're there. Don't make yourself an ass. Don't be on Twitter. Otherwise you might be shipped off to Denver. So, that's okay too. It'll be fun. So what do you guys have? Like, what's burning on your mind? Anything? Raiders? We're still not paying Khalil Mack yet, but don't worry, it's not even the middle of June. I wouldn't worry about it until probably about the 15th or the 20th, maybe. We'll see. But he's gonna get paid. I wouldn't worry too much at all about anything. He's our best player, so he's not going anywhere. They're not stupid. Reggie McKenzie's not an idiot. Luckily, not a moron. I have heard a lot of stuff, Ryan, about Obi being traded to Dallas, but that is a whole bunch of conjecture, and I think it's just guessing. I don't think that he's going anywhere. They're not going to give up on a draft pick second year, especially Obi Melifonwu, who was their second round choice. And he's seeing more team reps. Second week has been, he's got to put his work in, and I think he's probably doing that. Gruden's made it very clear, both probably directly to him and in the media. No bones about that one. He's got to get off his ass and do something. So looks like he is. He's been doing a good job in OTAs. I'm trying to look up to see what the first report of that Dallas rumor. I haven't heard anything about Bowman either, Mark. I don't want to think about him getting to Perry Riley Jr. status, but that's really, really, it's looking like it's almost to that point. I don't think he's going to be signed somewhere. I don't think he's going to get the money he wants, though. I don't remember how much. The last I heard was like $3 to $5 million that he wanted a year, and for a 29-year-old middle linebacker, that's probably way, way, way out of price. So we'll see what happens. I really would like to see him on a team, though. I would really love to see him back on the Raiders, because I think he kicked up the game last year a lot when he got in, was it week 7? I can't remember. When he got over to Oakland after, technical difficulties here. When he got to Oakland after he was, I'm losing my mind, guys. I'm so sorry. After he was jettisoned from San Francisco, basically, he kicked up the game. He took over Mike in a minute and had no problems with it. So I'm excited to see if he gets back on the team, what he can do, because that'll kick up a lot of competition. So it'll make it really, really tough, I think, and the linebacker core is going to be just phenomenal. It's going to be awesome. I think we're going to take off some heads with that one, especially with the rookie steals that we got this year. Come on, man. We did not meet with him as far as I know yet, Ryan. Kendricks is his name. I'm not super excited about him. I think he matches what we have on the roster right now. So we didn't sign. I don't know when he's set to meet, but I know he left Minnesota without a deal. So I think he's probably not. He's priced out of our range right now if he left Minnesota without a deal, because they're ready to spend money. They're spending. They gave Kirk Cousins $80 million guaranteed. That's pretty dedicated to bumping your team up. And even though they have a much better linebacker core than we do right now, or than we officially did, they probably still would have spent money on him. So we'll see. I don't know when he's set to visit, so I'd have to find out. His name is Michael Kendricks, right? I believe. And he spells Michael really funny. So yeah, there's no meeting set. There's no visit set right now. It's just that he's supposed to come visit. And I don't know if he's coming to Oakland before he goes to the Browns. So we'll see if he does. The Browns want to get some people on there too, so they're looking to build their roster a lot. And they've done a good job of it off season so far. I think they're looking like they're serious again. So that's not something we're used to seeing from the Browns. He was there Thursday. I didn't see anything about it, so we must not have signed him. I thought he was, I can't remember when he went to the Eagles, but yeah. Anyways, I haven't seen anything about him, haven't seen anything on Twitter, anywhere pretty much, so it's, I'm guessing it's not good. I'm guessing he's moving on to Cleveland and then hoping he gets a job somewhere. So I think going back to Bowman, he took over the mic in the middle of the season, and he bumped up that linebacker core immediately. And by week 10 or 11, when John Pagano took over, it was a complete turnaround. He got the first interception of the year. He broke a streak, which, oh God, it was the worst streak ever. One of the worst, anyways. It's not as bad as going 0-16, but Jesus, 10 games without an interception, that is unacceptable. So Mark Anthony, we will see, I guess, if he'll decide by the end of the week. But if he got out of the building, I'm guessing they didn't offer him the money or ask him to stay. That's not Gruden's style. He wants to keep him in the building and lock him in if they're that important. Look what he did to Jordy Nelson. That guy had a job in like 8 hours with the Raiders. So, and there was not much discussion. Hi, Lance. So, what else do we have going on? There is just nothing. It's off season, So I'm going to be here for Trask the Captain on Sunday. It's a very special episode of Ask the Captain because Captain Jack is in New York City. That's exciting. I've never been there, but I hear it's kind of gross. I guess Captain will have all of his stories. Check out his page, though. He's got a video on there riding the subway, I think. Exciting. Hey, Elle. We don't have anything to talk about because it's off season. OTAs are boring. All you really see, you see who gets hurt. I don't want anybody to get hurt, but it happens way too often when it's off season. So that's why I don't like having, like, the CBA sucks. It's awful. It prevents the coaches and the players from having enough time on the field to be able to get their conditioning up, to strengthen, to do, I mean, they can only do like 4 days of weight training in the weight room, and they can only do a couple hours a day. It's ridiculous. That's craziness. So someone should get rid of that. I wish they would, but I don't see it happening, unfortunately. I think it's crazy. Why do we do this? I don't know. We should stop letting the NFLPA run the system, but I guess that would be dangerous too. So I have been putting out some pieces with the Raider Ramble about who's going to make the final roster, and I came out with my offensive weapons this week. So I put 6 receivers and 5 running backs, well, tailbacks, including a fullback. And I'm not getting very good reception on some of those because I did say that I think that the final roster is going to include both of our little bullet guys. The Richard and Washington are still going to be there, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think Gruden gives up on people year 2. I think that's too much. Especially year, well, I guess it's year 3, but you have to have a full 3 years before you can develop this player, and they had a shit year, both of them, because they had shit coaching. So better coaching, they're gonna have a better year. They have completely different coaches on every side of the ball, and they have more competition, so they're fighting for their jobs. And one thing I know about Jalen Richard and about DeAndre Washington is they're hard workers. So that means quite a bit to these coaches, to this coaching staff. It's going to make a huge difference. Roberts and Holton, I think Roberts is going to make it. Johnny Holton, I don't know. He's a bubble guy. I don't think they're going to get rid of Roberts yet because it's not worth getting rid of him just yet because he's a good blocking receiver. He does have a clutch moment every once in a while, and when he does, the Raiders win. So if he scores a touchdown, knock on wood, they've never lost. So he could keep that streak alive, even though last year we should just put that out of our mind. I'm thinking we just need to forget about it and start over, because when you have one of the worst coaching staffs in Raider history, as far as I'm concerned, you have to wipe the board clean, and you have to kind of start over. Mark Anthony is disagreeing with me. That's okay. We're going to have to wait and see, obviously, but I think they're going to have plenty of practice squad guys. So if they don't have enough talent on the roster when they, suit up, they'll have more guys to put on there. And they're working everybody as hard as they can right now. They're seeing what everybody's made of. Gruden's out there on the field. He's pretending to be Khalil Mack so he can sack Derek Carr because he's in love with Derek Carr, and that's fine. He's on the field playing the offensive side of the ball. He's a coach that I like. I love him. Love him, love him, love him. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings about Gruden, but I don't think he's going to steer us wrong. Somebody said earlier, I saw a comment, not in here, but I saw a comment about Gruden will, I don't remember what he said. It really wasn't. Ryan, you may be right. Dennis Allen might have been worse, but good Lord, Dennis Allen was, he was a mess all unto himself. Back to Gruden. Somebody said something about him. He's just going to screw up the team like he did before. And I said, no, he's never screwed up the Raiders, ever. I don't think he screwed up the Bucs either, but because a lot of the problems that he had over there was ownership. If ownership doesn't want to give you a quarterback, you're not going to win. He won with Brad Johnson. Who the hell is Brad Johnson? Nobody knows, but he was a Super Bowl MVP for like a minute, and that was under Gruden. So Gruden's he's got a good track record with the silver and black. The Bucs, it's the Bucs. Who cares? Who gives a damn? He's got a ring. That's cool. Got to hoist a Lombardi, and that's fine. But now he wants to do it with the Raiders, so let's do it. He's doing the right stuff. He's making all the right moves, and he's going the right direction. So Seth is not going anywhere, and that's a good reason why, Michael. He's going to have to prove himself too, though. He's been doing a lot better in camp, or in OTAs, I guess. So it's like Martavis Bryant coming in with his last chance, you know. You corner a caged animal. I don't remember who said that, but cornering a caged animal gives you interesting results. So no, he did not, Bob. He was completely put on the sidelines. That's part of the problem he had with Al Davis too, was he wasn't given enough control over personnel. And you have to give the coach some control over personnel, otherwise you turn into the Browns. And the Browns are obviously a train wreck, and they have been for the last few years because they let Hugh Jackson take over. But it was really telling last year when they wouldn't even let him sit in the draft room. They kicked him out. Felt bad for the poor guy, but not that bad. It's a mess. If you can't let your coach have any input on it, you're not going to succeed. You don't let him get his guys, he's not going to succeed the way he wants to, and he's not going to be able to train people in the scheme that he has envisioned. So unfortunately, that's kind of where Gruden was, both towards the end of the Raiders and over in Tampa, the low-budget Raiders. Yeah, Mark Anthony, I think he'll get us there, but I don't know if he'll get us there before we move out of Oakland. So fingers crossed. I am hoping so. We need a win. We need a big win. So I won't mind when we move to Las Vegas, though, because that's a second home of mine, and I can't wait to go back and see my Raiders there. I have some friends that are going to go down and meet me, and let's buy a whole bunch of season tickets and call it good. I think Gruden has a plan to get us back to the Super Bowl, and Gruden's plan is going to include seeing how this year goes. So he's got to figure out how his personnel works and how his coaching staff is going to work with those people that he's got on the roster now, and he's going to have this year. So yeah. They yell, "Stop making fun of Hugh, poor guy." And I'm just kidding. I don't know Ryan, and he got an extension for a job. I think they're going to do something like, they're going to pull a Mark Davis on this one. They're going to do something like right after the last game and say, "Sorry, Jack Del Rio, you're gone. Come back, John Gruden." Maybe they'll dig up Paul Brown and have him come back and coach, because that would be better than Hugh Jackson. Seriously. He is a nightmare. I couldn't imagine. Yeah, it's horrible thought process. Anyways, back to Gruden. Yeah, I think he's got a game plan for the next couple of years, but until we see how this season goes, and at least until we get through training camp, we're not going to know. Not going to have a clue what he's thinking. So I don't think he's going to have a complete clue what he's thinking. He's going to have to go through and find out who his personnel are. And there's a really, really, really good core right now, though. They have a better core right now than they've had in a long time. It seems to go that the Raiders have a great offense and a crap defense, or a wonderful defense and an abysmal offense. Last year, we were the former. And, well, not last year even, because everybody just went to crap. But 2016, we were the former. And there's a very good possibility of getting that back. Right now, the biggest question on offense is that right tackle position. But I still think that they're going to shuffle up the line. I wouldn't be surprised. Cable is not one of my favorite picks, so I don't know what he's going to do, but if he shuffles around the linemen and sees how it works, it might be the change they need. So we'll see. But right now they've got 4 or 5 different guys practicing at right tackle. So there's only 1 or 2 backups right now at left tackle. So if Don Penn loses his job, I think it's Colton Miller's to lose after that. Just the person to fix it in Cleveland. Marty Schottenheimer. Oh man, why do you hate the Browns? That's mean, Bob. I feel bad for Browns. Anyways, stop giving them shit. But so right tackle, offense, defense, all the questions are still there. We're still not sure how the secondary is going to look, and I'm really scared. But I am hopeful because there's a lot more talent right now, and there's a lot more opportunity. So a lot of the guys are going to have the competition to make them step up their game, and you best believe that Gruden is going to keep every guy that he cuts, every guy that goes down to practice squad, every guy that doesn't sign anywhere else. He is going to keep them as a contingency plan, and I can't wait to see, how long he lets people. If they screw up, they're going to screw up one time. You get one. Everybody gets one. And that's it. He's not screwing around, which is great. I'm not the kind of parent that would screw around with my kids. You get one shot. If you didn't listen to me, it's your own fault. Get your ass whooped. That's cool. That's the parent Gruden is, I think. Looking at his kid, oh good God. He's committed. Let's just say that. But defense, I think the best battle that we're going to see through the entire offseason is going to be that front 7 battle. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Hurst was a big steal. Yeah, Dennis, it is the coaches, and they're the ones that have to make the decisions, and that's why it goes back to, who you have on the field is the decision the coaches make, and they have to work their asses off to get there. So if they don't, they're gone. I have no doubt in my mind that Gruden's going to have a stack of guys right behind every single person on that roster, ready to go. You can only suit up 46, but you can get all 53 total that are on active, and then practice squad, you can put whoever you want on there, and as long as they don't get picked up, then... And I bet you Gruden will talk people into staying just for the opportunity as a backup. Because unless they get a starting job somewhere else, what are they going to do? They're not going to another team and getting anything better than what they're getting with the Raiders. So, defensive line is going to be stacked, and that is going to help the secondary tremendously, because where does all your defense start? It starts in the front 7. The trenches are where it's at. And if you don't have somebody, Glenn's making fun of me. I don't have a pool. I'm in Alaska. We don't do outdoor pools here, so I can get a blow-up pool. Maybe next time. We'll see. I'm not going to get in it. But the defense is going to be stacked. So with the front 7, if that portion of the team does not kill this year, I'm going to be shocked. There's too much talent going on. There are a couple of holes. I still don't like Mario Edwards Jr. He is what he is, but I don't know. If you people know football and know football, Felipe, that's the point. We're waiting and watching, but we're talking about the options. So just calm down. It's going to happen. We're all going to get there. Don't worry. We're going to see if Penn makes it, but I'm not putting money on it yet. Depends on how OTAs and camp go. And camp, by all accounts, has been going pretty well for the offensive line. So Cable's working hard. I think he's working hard to prove that he deserves that job too. So he's going to have to put his own work in. And if he doesn't get that offensive line up to snuff where it should have been, where it was 2 years ago, there's going to be changes big time. last year. Gabe was hurt. Gabe Jackson had an ankle injury through pretty much most of the season. Hey, Lions. It's a beautiful day in Alaska, 65 degrees and nothing but sun. But our secondary is much improved. But like I said, Cable's going to have to do a lot. So he's going to have to mix up this group. And if he's not training those guys to the point of going home and dropping like flies when they're, when they get home and go to bed, then he's not doing his job. But by all accounts, he is. He's killing everybody. So we'll see. I think that's going to be an interesting fight to watch. Not going to be as good as the front seven on the defense, but the secondary is much improved from what it was, but it's hard not to be after last year because that was a train wreck. And exactly, Bob, he didn't take him in the first round for nothing. I know there's a lot of criticism on Colton Miller because he wasn't necessarily a superstar. He kind of plays upright a little too much, I guess. Hey, George. So those are things he's going to have to work on, but he's in the right spot to work on them. And if he's getting first team reps and he's playing right behind Donald Penn, who is one of the best left tackles we've seen in a long time, probably one of the top 5 Raiders left tackles, if not higher, but he's still got a lot of wear and tear, and he's still probably, I still don't see it. I wouldn't be shocked. I can see him being gone. Mark my words, it's going to be ugly. So don't worry, we'll see. But don't worry, I know enough about football to make these predictions sort of intelligently, I guess. I don't know. With our secondary, let's talk about that for a minute, because we've got a lot of questions back there. Somebody mentioned Obi earlier. I don't think Obi's going anywhere. And you got to give Obi an opportunity to recover. You got to give Obi an opportunity to get on the field and do his job. And after what Gruden said, he buckled down, and Gruden's not going to make any bones about it. He's not going to pull a Del Rio and say, something under his breath and kind of a backhanded comment that makes him feel bad. But yeah, it does, Lines. I just talked about that. It's, if you don't have somebody in the trenches that's going to stop a run or that's going to rush, then you're screwed. You're screwed. You have no defense whatsoever. You can have the best secondary in the world, but if your safeties are your top tacklers, something is wrong with your team. And sorry, my neighbor dog is barking. What a dickhead. So, Richard, I hope we go to the Super Bowl. I hope we do. But I don't see it this year. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't see it. It's going to happen maybe next year. This year is a rebuilding, retooling, restructuring, however they want to call it. I don't know if Lincoln Kennedy would be a line coach. Great players don't necessarily make great coaches, and we have seen that time and time again. Art Shell, terrible coach. More recently, Rod Woodson, horrible. Did a just abysmal job. It was almost, I could have done it better. I'm serious, and that's not saying a whole lot. It was a mess. That's why Bruce Irvin is stalking him and trying to make him eat a gun or something. I don't know. So I would love to see Lincoln Kennedy come back somehow, though. That would be amazing. He's definitely a big supporter of Coach Flores, which, by the way, we need Hall of Fame voters. Coach Flores, before he dies, he's going to die soon. He's like 82. Ken Norton Jr., exactly. He was a great player, and he was a good guy on the field. But Ken Norton Jr. is an example. Guys can't coach. Those who can't do, coach. Exactly. Those who can't do, teach, etc. So, secondary. You guys keep distracting me. Secondary. Obi's not going anywhere. think we're going to see a whole lot more turnover there. I think what they've got right now is what they're going to work with. Unless a big name comes off another team, we're going to see what we got when we get on the field. And yes, it comes down to chemistry. It comes down to who works well together in a system and who can actually get the system down. That is why Reggie McKenzie's there still. Not Reggie McKenzie. There's too many Reggies. Reggie Nelson. That's why he's still there, because he can help those rookies. He can help the younger guys. He can help the newer guys on the team. And he knows Gunther, and he did well in Gunther's scheme, so why not? Give him a chance to boost himself back up. He's got to reclaim that Predator thing. And until he does, he's probably going to be that one guy that's on the roster that everybody says, why the hell is he still there? Now that Sean Smith is gone, you got to focus your energy somewhere, right? So I did not see that, Bob. I would like to, though. I'm going to have to look that up. Lincoln Kennedy's chart talk show breaking down film on the defense. My favorite film breakdown is Brett Coleman. So if you guys don't have a chance to look at him, oh my gosh, you got to. He does an amazing job. He did a video on Khalil Mack called The Apex Predator, which was as accurate as you could possibly get. So yeah, Lions, he was a Pro Bowler under Gunther, but he was also a Pro Bowler under Del Rio. So, and that was questionable, but I mean, it is what it is. That's why I don't put a whole lot of stock in Pro Bowl. But it's nice to know that you're recognized for your talent by your teammates or by the voters, people who call in. A lot of that is kind of biased. It's popularity, just like it is on the NFL Top 100. So we're not gonna see any turnover on secondary. I don't think we're gonna see much turnover left anyways. That's why I don't see Kendrick coming over. I don't see, unless they have a really big name who's willing to take some, bargain money. We're seeing who we're gonna work with, and that's okay, because who we've got on there is pretty impressive. It's much better than we've had in a while. And it's much better than we could have asked for. Anything under Del Rio was going to be a train wreck, and we don't need any more nightmares, unless we're giving nightmares to other people. So now that Khalil Mack has some other people to deflect from him, which is great, as long as when they have a strong middle linebacker, which I think they will have a strong middle linebacker, because there are a few options on there that would just great. I still love Tahir Whitehead. I don't think people are giving him enough credit for being awesome, because he's awesome. And he's experienced in every one of those linebacker positions. Hi, Hot Neil. He's gonna put in some work, and I think everybody's gonna love him after the year. So once they get that mic position down, once they get somebody in there who can quarterback the defense essentially, then everything's going to start clicking. It'll be a much better year. I'm not going to give them a whole lot of credit just yet, because it is all about how it comes down. It's all about who works out and who works in a scheme and who the coaches like and who's going to listen to that fucking dog. Nobody listened to the fucking dog. Who's going to listen to the coaches, and who's going to be able to pick up the schemes that they're working in now, because they are all new. I guarantee you, everything is all new, and I think it's all going to be good. There's going to be some people that are not going to make the final cut, and I think we'll probably have some surprises there, but probably not a whole lot. Everyone does get a pass from last year, Lions. I was saying that earlier. There's no reason to not give the people from last year an opportunity to make it up. Make it up to us. They've got to. And if they don't, then it was not a fluke. But if they do, then give them an opportunity to work. Give them an opportunity to show what they're made of. That's what they're doing right now. And that's what everybody should be doing. I don't hear a lot from other camps, but I don't listen to a lot of camps other than ours. So, other, than a few people not showing up. I guess Julio Jones didn't show up to OTAs. Who gives a shit? Nobody cares. It's OTAs. And oh my God. He's a really solid player. He's one of the best receivers in the league, period. If not the best. I know people are going to argue because Antonio Brown's still out there, but he is one of the top 3 receivers at least. And he deserves money. Give him money. Jesus. I mean, I don't blame him. So, there's a lot of that going on. There's nothing else. That's it. That's why the commish is doing a greatest Raider of all time right now. So, there's nothing good to talk about other than Jack in the Box screwed us up. You're correct, Hot Nail. That's a good way to put it. He was awful, and he doesn't have a job yet, I don't think. So there's a reason for that. That fucking dog. Oh my gosh. So we are hopefully going to kick into high gear a little bit more. He's not a Raiders fan, Michael. I don't think he is. That's the neighbor dog. My dog is. He's over there taunting. We're going to kick into high gear in about a little over a month. So when training camp starts, it's going to be exciting to see who made it through OTAs. Last year, Kerryon Conley didn't even make it through OTAs. He kind of got tweaked during the off season last year, and he didn't make it through training camp very well. And then you see game 1 and who's not playing. We got kind of screwed there, so yeah. Hi, Neil. If he gets a job at Jack in the Box. That reminds me of a conversation I had on my podcast called Just Win Ladies. If you haven't listened to it, you better listen. It's awesome. Des Bryant, there's a guy who doesn't have a job yet, and I'm not surprised about it. My co-host asked me, where do you think Des is going to end up? And I said, I don't give a shit, because who cares? It doesn't really matter. He's going to ask for way too much money, and he's going to want first team, and he's going to want to start every game, and he's not that guy anymore. George, we do a Raiderette show every Saturday, so my co-host right now is doing some moving. She's kind of in the middle of 10,000 things, so she's not here this week, but she should be back next week. And we have a show on the Raider Reaction pretty much every day of the week, just about. So yeah, always something going on. Neil, I don't know. Oh, maybe he will go to Cleveland Lions. That's a good idea. But I don't know. Dez is just a train wreck. I don't like him. He's a hot mess right now. And I don't like any guy who beat up his mom. That's not acceptable. Not acceptable at all. I have a mama's boy. My son is, he would be so pissed. I can't imagine. Why would you beat up your mom? Anyways, so in a month, we'll have much more to talk about. Next week, we'll have probably more to talk about because Sunshine usually brings some interesting questions. Like last week when we talked about the ticket holders press conference with the coaches and Reggie, and there were some interesting comments. I never get enough of Gruden. His comments are priceless. They're amazing. It's so great to watch somebody who just has no fucks to give. No fucks to give. Zero. He doesn't care about what you think. Exactly, Lines. Des is just, his attitude is terrible. He blames everybody else for his shortcomings. He blamed Dak Prescott for not throwing him the ball, and those two clearly had a rift off the field. And I don't know if it was all based on Des bitching about not getting the ball, but he was a mess. He wasn't even worth paying last year. But now they've got 2/3 of their empty cap space tied up, or their available cap space tied up in two guys who aren't even going to be on the team. Tony Romo is making a really, really, really good profit right now. Trust me. So, we try to bring the latest. Sometimes there's nothing to bring, unfortunately. But, sorry for the dings. Stop dinging me. That's our Raider reaction. team. I guess they're trying to put their 2 cents in, but they should be watching the video. Anyways, so it's such a boring time of year. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. There's like 90 days until football starts, and it's going to be agonizing every single minute. It's terrible. I have a hard time finding stuff to write about. I am interested, and I will be writing something. Stop it, Hot Neil. I am not doing Stevel Juice. I don't have the thingy. So I'll send Commish your way later. But I do want to put a piece together, which I will have out probably next week, about who's going to be the front 7 on the defense and who's going to make the final starting lineup. Other than Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvin. They're going to do a lot of rotating out, though, so I think we're going to see a lot of different packages. It's going to be a really different look for the Raiders. We haven't seen anything like them for quite some time. I don't even remember the last great defensive coordinator we had, because I kind of just blacked out most of the 2000s. It's like I was in a coma, a football coma. The front 7 is going to be awesome, though. I don't think there's any reason to think that we don't see a few Pro Bowlers out of the front 7 next year. They're going to help the secondary tremendously. So all we need in the secondary is guys who can pay attention and keep up. That's it. They just need to be, they need to be on their game, but they don't need to be Pro Bowl secondary players. They need to be solid, and they need to be consistent, which is not something we've seen for a while. I really liked David Amerson, but after his, first year with the Raiders, he just plummeted, and he was a waste after that. Last year, it was just a train wreck. I wish we would have kept TJ. That would have been nice, but... Oh, thank you, Glenn. I appreciate that. We try here. I love my Raiders, and I love football. So if I could watch it every day, all day, I would, but we're stuck without football right now. We do have 3 really good wide receivers. I don't know that Amari's going to play wideout next year. I think he's going to be a slot receiver. I think that's where they're playing him mostly right now when he's doing first team, and he's looking good. Last year when he played in the slot every single time, he killed Kansas City, 211 yards in one game, and he played mostly from the slot. And that's where he, I think, needs to be. Yeah, we didn't have a real good game last year, Hot Neil. It was it was just a comedy of errors is what it was. Those first few, it was ugly, just ugly. Anyways, but yeah, it's awesome that we have some actual people to look forward to. I think we've got 2 really solid wideouts that are going to take the ball downfield a lot more often. They're actually going to catch the balls, which is great. That's kind of the necessary part of that. But I think we're going to see a lot more Amari in the slot, and I think he's going to burn people because we know that he's got the wheels to do it. He is a monster, and if he keeps packing on weight like he has, but he actually trains to be able to use that weight and function with it, then he's going to be unstoppable. He's going to look a lot more like a Julio Jones than he has. I'm excited to see that because once he gets a little bit bigger, once he gets a little faster, once he concentrates on his route running skills, I think, and focusing on his catching, obviously, that goes without saying. But Glenn, I do have my moments, so I know my football history pretty well. So, anyways, but I think Amari's going to be a lot better next year. He is going to pull a lot more big games out of his ass. I think Carr's going to hit him with a lot more too. He's going to give him the opportunity, and I know everybody hates that check down quarterback term, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, because if you're checking down, it's a bad thing for your receivers. It's a bad thing for your weapons, because you have to go through every single one of them before you decide to drop a ball off to nobody or run it yourself. And that, unfortunately, was where Derek Carr was stuck last night. I'm sorry, Glenn. I forgot to do it before I started the video, so I only got like 15 minutes left to put up with the dings. But I think the guys told everybody in my chat group not to ding me anymore, so we should be good. Hopefully. Where was I at? I got distracted. Amari. That's a bad idea, Hot Neil. Let's not put snakes in anybody's asses. He'll be good. He'll be good. I think he'll be great. He's going to have a breakout year. He hasn't had one yet, technically. He had a really good second year. His rookie year was okay. But, yeah, I think we're going to see that breakout from Amari this year. And I think it's going to be helped a lot by the fact that he has two really solid veteran wideouts. And they're kind of different levels of veteran, too, which is great, because Jordy Nelson's been doing this for quite some time. Martavis Bryant has a few years under his belt. But, you know, he played in Pittsburgh. He had to fight with Antonio Brown for reps. That's a rough place to be. And now he's coming over here and he's working his ass off to get a starting job. And I think he's pretty much got it locked up, unless, you know, worse comes to worse, if he gets hurt or something. I think that's the only way he's not going to get that starting job. That's it. I think we've got our three receiving core guys, and they're probably going to carry at least three more, because make no mistake, Gruden wants that ball to be thrown this year. He wants Derek Carr to take that thing downfield as much as possible. And I think that if he's not the passing leader this year in yardage or touchdowns, that's not good enough for Gruden. So, yeah, Derek Carr's he's a workhorse too. So he knows that he's got a lot of work to do, but he knows that he's dedicated enough to do it. He's got that work ethic, which I have never questioned about Derek Carr. Jordy will be a good influence on Coop. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think Jordy's the right guy to come in. And it's going to show. It's going to show on the field, and probably during practice. He's already shown pretty good things. He had a tough time last week. He was taking second team reps from what I understand, but it was right after he tweaked a hamstring. So, you know, they were probably just giving him kind of a little bit of a respite for a little while, so he didn't do any more tweaking, because they can't afford that. The team can't afford to lose another high-powered receiver, period. It's just not a good idea. And the backs that they've got, I think, are going to make a difference too. I cannot believe Doug Martin. I'm so impressed. I can't wait to see him on a field. And I made a bold prediction last week with the commission. He did not believe me, I don't think, and nobody else did. But I think we could have 2,000-yard rushers this year. It will be interesting. It's going to be fun. There's going to be so much for Derek Carr to do. It's never going to be boring. Oh my gosh. It's going to be amazing. So excited. Can't wait. And oh, so excited. I just can't contain myself. Sorry. Anyways. I think Derek's going to have a record year too in something. He's going to have either I believe he will throw for over 4,000 yards this year, George. I do. He's been close. 17-2. Which two, Hot Neil? Game 1 and 2? I want to know, do you guys, are we going to sweep Cleveland? Are we going to sweep the Chiefs this year? I think they're going to be closer to Cleveland because they suck. I do not give them any credit whatsoever. I think our only competition this year is going to be the Chargers. That's it. And we'll see. They lost Hunter Henry, so they don't have a tight end core right now. They gave up their veteran superstar record-holding tight end Antonio Gates, and I bet you best believe he got a phone call the minute that he went down. I don't know if we'll sweep, Glenn, but I think we'll at least split with Chargers, and I would not be surprised if we swept everybody else. Although last year I was hoping that we'd sweep the Chiefs, and it looked good for a little bit, but then it didn't. So it might still look good this year. There's a much higher opportunity. They lost one of their best secondary players, and I don't know what the word is on Eric Berry right now, so I have no idea. I'm gonna hold you to that, Glenn. 6-0 in the West. We heard it here. Hot takes right here on Raider Reaction. You have nowhere else you need to be. If we sweep the West, I'm gonna send you a Raiders mug. How about that? I'll have commission. I will, out of my pocket, I will pay for some Raiders gear, Raider Reaction gear. Send it to you. Remind me, Glenn. I think our last division game is week 17. So we meet the Chiefs again within about a 2-week span. So yeah, I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to carry them anywhere. That kid is raw, and Andy Reid is not the coach that everybody wants to give him credit for. Give me a break. When he takes over play calling for the offense, that's when they go straight down the crapper, and it's just a bunch of bullshit, unfortunately for them. He is a great, he's just not a good coordinator. He does good when he's coaching, but not when he's trying to take over his coordinator's jobs. Yeah. I don't think he's got it. I don't think they have what they need this year. I don't know where Eric Berry's at. Other than him, they have nobody in their secondary. Nobody I like. Nobody that can turn my head, period. Nothing. And they lost Tom Bahali. We stole Derek Johnson. Justin Houston is probably the only one I can think of that makes a huge impact on their defense. And I don't remember how old he is, but he's getting up there too. So, yeah, I can't believe you called him Crybaby Quivers. That's hilarious. I call him Mr. Potato Head because Phil Rivers always brings his angry eyes, like in Toy Story. NFL Network, Good Morning Football. Yeah, they're trying to be conservative. Bob, Good Morning Football doesn't like the Raiders. I know that seems like a very trite thing to say because we say it all the time. But Raiders fans, we know that we get slighted a lot. And if anybody says anything good about the Raiders on any of the ESPN shows, somebody just tanks them. They go after them like hot garbage. It's retarded, but unfortunately, that's why we're the bad boys of the NFL and girls. And unfortunately for everybody else, they're gonna see. I think we're gonna come out swinging. People are not giving Chucky enough credit. He's been out of the booth off the sidelines for 10 years in the booth, and they're not looking at the fact that the man has one of the biggest, if not the biggest, library of coaching film in the entire league of anybody. And this is stuff he's been compiling the entire time he's been off. So, fired Football Coaches of America. He taught he completely tutored the Coach of the Year last year. Give him some credit. Give me a break. And the other argument that I am tired of hearing, this is probably the last thing I'm going to talk about because it's going to take a few minutes. Give me a friggin' break. He won the Super Bowl with Tony Dungy's team. Tony Dungy didn't win the Super Bowl with that team. Not at all. Nobody else did. You know who did? John Gruden. I'm cool with that. It's going to be fine. I have all the faith in Gruden in the world. And I think he's got everything going the right direction for the Raiders. But don't ever tell me again. You know what? If somebody comes up to you and says he won with Tony Dungy's team, punch them in the throat. Because that is the stupidest argument. Who didn't win? So Tom Flores won 2 Super Bowls with John Madden's team? Is that what we're saying here too? Because that's retarded. And so like the Steelers, I guess, Mike Tomlin won with Bill Cowher's team. Is that what we got going on here? Because, give me a break. That's just a retarded way to deflect from the fact that Gruden took a team somewhere that Tony Dungy couldn't. Who's the better coach? I don't know. We'll see. But that's a big statement right there. I get it, but yeah, I don't know. That's a bullshit argument. It gets me mad every time. I think the time in the booth helps, and the other thing that I like about Gruden being in the booth is nobody thought of him as the enemy. So he makes comments all the time that he got to go around every Monday Night Football, go, meet the coaches, the players. They'd walk him around the facilities. They'd give him a tour, sit him down. So what do you think of some of our plays here? What do you think we got going on? Do you think there's anything here we can improve? You know what that means? He knew he was coming back to the NFL, guys. Come on. He knew. He knew for a while. I'm pretty sure he probably has been talking to Mark Davis for, I don't know, better part of a decade. I wouldn't be surprised, but he knew exactly what he was doing. He's got some plays. He's got some information. Like he said last week, he loves stealing from the Chiefs. So Derek Johnson is the perfect fit. And I'm sure he probably stole some plays, or at least looked at some plays. All you can do is see what's there and work from it. And he is one of the smartest football minds I've ever seen. So, I'm excited. I can't wait. It's going to be a great season. I'm not guessing anything more than 9-7 right now because I'm trying to be conservative, cautiously optimistic. I understand the desire to want to put them at a higher record, but we got to be realistic, and we have to see what this team is made of before we put them in. Thanks, George. Before we put them in the winner's circle. I don't think the Chiefs are going to be tough to beat. Right now, the West belongs to the Raiders and the Chargers. So, on that note, guys, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Send comments if you have any more questions. There's going to be Trask the Captain this weekend, so Sunday night you can tune in. Like I said, Captain Jack is in New York. He's abandoned us, but that's okay. He'll be back. So tune in. It's going to be 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. It's 6 o'clock in Alaska, so I'll be here. Anyways, thanks, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Raider Nation!